So this is the second sort of just demo for this. Oh, and I went too quick. I've now got mages in the game. Very very basic starting point. So my character is now Morgub Fezglis. I do want to add in an actual character description, but then he's from the Order of Galvanic. That gives him electrical powers, as you can see. That's his mana at the bottom, and there's his random generated ancestral type, and skills now got magic in. Lightning Blast will sort of create an area effect around the character, does damage. Now added in, there's now a split between descriptions and item names. So chipped hand axe, if I knew what these things are, it would have the name and then it would have 2 dots and description. I don't know what these things are. My character's not intelligent enough. So that chipped hand axe, the chipped hand axe description tells you what it looks like. I know it looks like rubbish, but it is not statistically impossible that could be a really high value item. Well, not high value, but because it's on the lower floor. But a first floor, but it could be a level above, but just have been randomly assigned a poor description. So because I'm not intelligent enough, I don't actually know. And if go to my inventory, if you now go to the stuff and go, okay, I want to use this item, it tells you just don't understand this item well enough. I can still use it. And that was damage. That actually was a poison. So the fact that I didn't know my character was intelligent has actually cost me a point of health. I probably need a smarter character to sort of show all the things I want to show, because that one looked like it had a low intelligence. The magic system's really basic. I need to sort of start again, I think. Oh, I've only got Frost and Firelands as so even the something in the new one is even the characters, the available professions and magic in that particular setting is randomly generated, and there is sometimes information that's put into the game, like historical text that will say, okay, in such and such a year, this wizarding school was founded, and all that's randomly generated, and it's just to say, oh, you've got a game where you had loads of wizards. Well, here's why, and you're not even assured that it will appear. You can see that there you go. That I'm intelligent enough to know that is a Kupi seed. Dark brown seed grows into the large trees. Small crystals are embedded within. Okay, so I know what that is. I know what the Kaza Craft Club is, and you can see it's a level up from a shoddy club, so it's received the word varnish. That means it's probably worth a little bit of money. Tattered travelling cloak, that probably is worth less, but that's statistically, so it could be worth some money. So maybe I do want to take it back to the town, just to sort of start to work out what values things are. But let's go to Kupi seed. Okay, so now I know that's a poison, that's going to damage me, and so you may have a benefit in playing through the same seed multiple times, sometimes choosing I added in a professor into the game. I'm out of carrying capacity, so you play the philosopher professor type character, has high intelligence, try and use that to figure out what the world is like. Make sure we've got something for magic. go up 3 levels, and then go back in. Okay, so that's traps. I've added in traps. They are currently set to be randomly generated in different places each time. I would like to get it so they randomly generate in the same place each round through, and I think that would reward replaying, going backwards and forwards through the same thing and knowing where you could step and not. I still probably, if I do the set place, I have to figure out to make sure it doesn't turn up on anything important. But I did have an incredible bug where it generated a bunch of traps on boxes, and that's really powerful. You feel really stupid walking up to a box and getting shot at. So you see the added in books, and books will give you hints about what's going on in the game world. So if you imagine the game's been all randomly generated, even the rules of this material interacts with this material have been partially randomized, and that won't work for things like fire and metal. Always have to interact with each other in the same way. But I can generate fairies, I can generate ghosts, I can generate undead. So what I figured out is, well, I can change what those things are weak and strong against, and as long as I put it in a book and randomly put it into the game somewhere, that feels fair to me. Sometimes that means that, like, in one game you will generate where demons cannot even be damaged by water. Another game they can't be damaged by fire, and so the strengths and weaknesses of the enemies that you I like to think of it as like randomizing cosmological constants, actually, but the specific sort of weaknesses of what you've got to go and fight and kill this thing with will vary per game, and you then either have to figure it out by random trial and error. Once you've worked it out, write it down, figure it out, go and do it, or you have to get your intelligence up and start finding these items and understanding what's going on. There's a little bit of fairness, because I did think for books I might make it that if you're not intelligent enough to read it, you only get the book, the book title, but that would have inverted that slightly. So I went with that everybody can read, nobody's stupid enough not to be able to read. I have a plan to make more of the enemies and the things sort of randomised in the same way that some of them you just don't know what they are and what they do, that you'll get a description or a name, and yeah, it's a very strange approach. I kind of wanted to see what happens if you just keep on doubling down on this let's randomise a game type method, and see at what point it becomes fun. I don't know if I'm quite there yet. I mean, I found that it's a lot of extra work compared to, say, writing a net hack or a traditional rogue. I'm slightly worried that one day the random language generation will come up with something offensive. I probably will put in a blacklist before I do that, but before I release that, because I just wouldn't want to have that headache. Let's have a look at that. So there it's saying, okay, it's a temperate world, bands of diversity system exists, and that's one of the ways the game sort of communicates with you and tells you that, okay, there is these, this is how this world's been generated, and yeah, so I don't think I'm going to try and get it to generate a full story like that, but it's one of the ways I was thinking of doing it. Also, if you notice these, there's a system I've made called Maker's Marks, and I kind of want to develop that a little bit more, so these items may generate with more different ways or more different descriptions. So scratch knife in the future might also have, okay, well, you know, it's got a handle that's like this, and sort of build up the item from all these different components and to give you a description about it. Lots of different things have been done with the enemies. There is now enemies that can shoot you. Not fully tested, and I'm not sure I've got the statistical right there. There's poison in the game. There is enemies that can bite you and poison you. Again, I need to create in sort of a set of items to sort of artificially test it. There's antidotes in the game, and they have been tested. Antidotes will now remove any of the status effects on your character, but this all relies on you actually knowing what the right items that do what. I mean, I kind of have mixed feelings, because I feel that in the game currently, you just don't end up eating stuff that you don't know what it is. A little bit like real life. But if you do, you could kill yourself, and I do find that kind of funny. You know, sort of just do a bit of a worked example. See these fruit berries. See how one of them is though. So the drugs will change your character stats for a short amount of time. There are the poisons from the enemies will do the other thing in reverse, with the addition that poisons can also set it so your character basically takes a huge amount of damage at the end of a timer. And the only way to stop that is to go and find a antidote. So that's made that quite hard. There's ghosts in the game. Ghosts take no damage from most of the material that you could use for items, weapons, your fists, all that stuff can't be damaged. Actually, this is generating a lot of very empty earlier levels compared to normal. So I do think I need to think about, I mean, in one sense, getting sort of relatively empty levels in the first thing is one of the ways I want to allow players to grind and deal with adversity, because it gets quite hard later on. See if I can just delve down. But it does mean that some of the low levels are quite boring. See if I can just dive till I die. And you can see it sort of gets harder really, really quickly. So really improved. So this is that's a generator called the energy creature generator. That breathing on me will actually damage you. That actually does have a range attack. There is just a weird generator that just throws weird stuff together, and that's what's produced that. There's a chimera generator. I don't know if I actually mentioned that already. Oh, already took some damage. Must have got breathed on. Ooh, what are you? Also, when it says the size, that gives you a sense of how fast it is. Those behemoths would move. It's a reason it moves very slow. So, yeah, the poison in the game can be interesting because you end up in a situation where, and also the rot and the slime that thing's got on will do double damage to flesh, and I've got no armor on. I think it does half damage to steel by standard, so you want to put on a metal armor or leather or something to cover you. But if you just walk around naked like I'm doing, I bet some of these are bats, or maybe they're just generated. Oh, they can see me. They're just very slow. Yeah, and you can see why the difficulty curve is a bit horrible. I mean, this is why it's a stealth. It's aimed at being a stealth game and not a not a fighting game. But you know, if that was your situation, you just have to find a way to run away and get out of that situation. Yeah, I'm not sure whether I've got it right at the moment. It's given it's all randomly generated, you get this strange thing of there is no fingers balance, and you just kind of end up embracing that and saying, well, you've just got to figure something out, and that's still an energy creature. Run away. So if you could cast water attacks or ice, I don't know if ice works on fire. I think I coded it the other way around. If you got the right thing and you can figure out what energy type is, you can have an advantage. Yeah, I mean, I think the cool thing about this is you don't feel bad when you die because it's not fair. Nobody's made that fair. I wonder what I just killed. Okay, so I killed a wood spider. Did you say it was made of glass? Oh, okay, so its voice that made shatter glass actually is, I think, fairy attack. Oh, that's the Chimera generator. But like, how are you just meant to deal with that? Like, you can see that not only did they kill me, but they knocked me down so I couldn't even move because there's so many of them. Yeah, I'm not sure how I'm going to balance against that. I might sort of make it so you can theoretically teleport out, and this might be a lesson on, oh, that killed me, a lesson in making the game easier, because a lot of the values come out as, and this is some of the fun that happens. So, okay, I've enjoyed, got the snake priest with snake crystals. Just one of the fun thing when you generate everything, sometimes it just throws some strange oddities your way. I really like it when it sort of creates a omancer. I've seen a tornado omancer and mortomancers, necromancers, needlemancers and threadomancers, because we've got linen in the game for making clothes out of, and therefore linen in the game must be available to use for magic, and that just means that you can have these weird magic users. I do think I do need to do a lot of work on that. It's currently a bit of a horrible game to sort of. It's a fun game to play because dying's fun. It's a horrible game to play because there's really no way of winning. There's just sort of playing until you die. So yeah, that's my current set. And I don't know, like it sort of has been interesting to play. Oh, that killed me. I died by a trap. I do need to also increase the amount of different traps. At the moment, the trap only generates one set of trap, which is for testing purposes, was the dart trap. But there's a system there that would be extended. It would use a decision tree, so I could create pretty much anything that you can imagine as just a system of menus to be interacted with. So that's probably something that's going to be used to create. Oh, do I not even have ability to carry stuff? Oh, I'm full. So then generate, that for alters and all the stuff that's in NetHacks. And yeah, it needs a hell of a lot of balancing. I kind of want to leave that until I've built up all the different systems and then built up all the different enemy types. I still would like there to be things like zombies in the game, which would come back to life if you left them alone. Just kind of build up, and those would be still randomly generated. And another cool thing is when you generate a special rule set for zombies and stuff, I'm trying to keep it so you will also be able to add it elsewhere. So you get ooh, okay, dead. Yeah, I think the fun of it is the dying and just knowing that it is just a quick game. I have tended to do the coding for this on my lunch breaks and played it on my lunch breaks because you can just play. I mean, how many actual really short games have just come out of? I would suspect this is about half an hour we've been playing. I kind of like that. I like the fact that it is so weird. Yeah, there it is. Hope you enjoyed. Bye.